Hi and welcome to my Mindshift Formula 1 Smart Action Success Insurance System. My name is Tony DeVale and I'm going to be your success activator and smart action mentor, support and insurer for you on this journey towards more excitement, more happiness, more success, more results that you've been looking for. I thank you for taking the time and the investment in yourself, because it is this investment that will transform your future and your destiny. My benefit that I bring to you is the wisdom that I have gained from struggling, succeeding, crashing, burning, failing, and not achieving the goals and dreams that I was hoping to. And I'm sure the fact that you've bought this shows me that you're interested in creating something more in your life. Maybe you're feeling frustrated, maybe you're feeling uncertain, maybe you're just not sure, maybe you've been trying and trying but just not actually achieving the kind of end results that you've been looking for. And maybe you've been like me, where you know what to do, but you don't do what you know because, well, there's just more of life happening around you. There's just too much other stuff. There's distractions. There's things that are calling for your immediate attention. And so let me lay out for you what my intention is for the 6 CDs that we have in this set. My system, the Formula 1 Smart Action System, is essentially like a racing car. So in the racing car, you have your 2 front wheels, you have your steering wheel, you have your 2 back wheels, and you have your motor, and of course then the most important part of the racing car is you in the driver's seat. But are you in the driver's seat? What would it feel like if you were in the driver's seat? Can you imagine the kind of lifestyle that you would like to achieve? Traveling the world, having time and money freedom, having less stress, fewer worries, fewer financial concerns, feeling good about yourself, good self-worth, self-esteem and self-confidence. Can you get a picture of what that kind of lifestyle would look like? And now take a deep breath and breathe that in and get a really good feeling. And allow your stomach to relax. And just breathe out and get a good sense of what it feels like to be really okay. To feel really successful and know that your future is bright. Amazing feeling, isn't it? Now I don't know about for you, but for me, I haven't had that feeling for much of my life. And I'm already over 50. I've been striving and striving, and it's not that I'm poor. I'm reasonably well off. Everything I own is fully paid for. I have a nice house, a nice car, a nice woman, a nice life. I have certain amounts of time and money freedom, but could I have more? Absolutely. Am I grateful I have what I do have? Completely. And so the adventure and the journey that I want to take you on is, I'm assuming that you want more from life and you're now no longer interested, but you are now committed to creating something more with your life. I've really, if I'm honest with myself, and I would ask that you are honest, completely honest as well, is I've been dabbling. I haven't given my best. I've kind of played around. But if you asked me, have you given 100% of your best effort all of the time? No. I've been busy. I've been busy doing stuff, doing life. You know, life is what happens to you while you're busy planning what you want to have happen to you. And so I've looked around and I've watched people with bigger houses, more cars, more money, more happiness, more freedom, more in every dimension. And it was only when I got to the point of saying, enough is enough is enough. It is my time. I will do whatever it takes that I'm going to create this future life. And so the benefit that you have is I'm now able to condense my wisdom, my knowledge, my skill, my ability, my crash and burns, my learn and earns, and condense them down into a few hours. The challenge that you have is actually applying and taking action. So let me describe the system that I've designed for you. With this, we have this racing car. The front left wheel is about mind shift. managing your mind, understanding how your brain operates, understanding how to consciously manage your mind. Rather than being reactive, we can become proactive. It's about optimizing your mental faculties. It's about optimizing those mental faculties so we can get the best out of this brain, this biological computer. I'm looking to become your antivirus, your mental antivirus, to build your resilience, to build your psychological capital, to build hope and self-worth and self-esteem and self-efficacy, and to block any further limiting belief systems and thought viruses that are going to protect you and prevent you from a bright and wonderful future. And to help you build supportive belief systems that will ensure that you are going to be much more successful on a long-term basis. That's the front left wheel. The front right wheel is heart shift. And the heart shift is about feeling. It's about the heart area. It's about those core energies and feelings and hopes and dreams that inspire and move us at a very deep level. It's not the mental ego basis. This is the core soul space. So it's about removing any thought viruses and becoming aware of limiting belief systems and reducing mental static. We've all had stuff happen in our lives, and that's part of the journey of learning and growing and discovering. The challenge is most of us are still carrying that baggage. And until we release and let go and recreate our identity of who we are and stop our self-sabotaging behavior and belief systems and limitations and unhook our fears and loss and grief and frustration and anger, we'll always be distracted and looking in the rearview mirror, because on our racing car or on your motor car you have a rearview mirror. But if you spend most of your time looking into that rearview mirror, whether it's conscious or unconscious, it's going to distract you. It's going to take away your energy. It's going to take away your focus. And before you know it, you're backhandling stuff rather than focusing and driving forward. And so it's about leveraging this heart intelligence and this core driving passion and energy that will give your goals and success real deep meaning. To control our front wheels, we have our leader shift, which is about clarifying your values, your vision, your destiny, your cause and your calling. Unleashing and enhancing that identity and that confidence that you can make the decision to say, this is who I am, this is why I'm on the planet, this is what I'm about. That you can step up and be a leader in your life and not a follower. That you can learn to understand the power of influence and impact and persuasion. That you can present with impact. That you can make yourself heard. And that you manage your internal relationships perfectly so that your external relationships are a whole lot better. But success and failure in life comes down to how well you lead and manage your own life. The left back wheel is wealth shift. It's about understanding the vehicles of building a wealth of prosperity and abundance in our lives. It's not only financial, money, material, but it's wealthy relationships. It's wealthy how well you feel about yourself. It's friendships. It's feeling abundant in every area of those 6 areas of life that we have. It's about understanding the vehicles that we choose to create abundance and wealth and prosperity in our lives. You might be in the right vehicle but on the wrong track. You might be in the wrong vehicle in the wrong track. But you might be in the right vehicle on the right track but not driving correctly. And so our goal is to help you understand how best to optimize the resources that you have, the vehicle that you have, and to explore possibilities and new ideas. And it's also about aligning your energy and making sure that the fuel and the energy that's driving these wheels is going to get you to where you want to get to. The right back wheel is health shift. I've seen many people spend their health to get their wealth, and then they want to use their wealth to get their health back, and that is a problem. And so we want to make sure that there's a balance in life, understanding our vitality and our energy, thinking smart about healthy relationships, healthy mindsets, healthy attitudes, healthy eating, healthy sleeping, healthy drinking, the kind of stuff we put into our Ferrari, this inestimable value vehicle we call our biological body, understanding that we have only one and we need to look after those things. And the final driving core part of our success activator system is about action. It's about focused, smart action incrementally every single day that ensures that day by day you are moving closer to your dream. So many people have goals and dreams and they do their mantras and they do their affirmations, But it doesn't work. People know about the secret. They take workshops. They spend thousands of rands on books and videos and audios. But the problem is, those books end up being on their shelf. And it's no longer self-help books, it's shelf-help books. I can tell you I have more than 2,000 books on my shelf. I've printed probably more than 500 books on my printer. I have more than a few thousand hours of video, audio, PDFs that I have acquired and stored and gathered on my PC and my terabytes of data. They have no value until you action and apply it with focus, with clarity, with a plan. Until then, you are not going to fly. You'll be scratching with the chickens and playing in the pedal cars and not being on the Formula One track. And so my intention is to give you everything you need to take smart, effective action on a day-to-day basis that will change your life, to bring you results beyond reasons. My LifeShift Formula One success insurance system will help you ensure your future for you and your family. I will ensure that you take smart action with whatever workshops, whatever knowledge, skill and ability you've got, whatever trainings you've done, whatever talks you've gone to, whatever motivational inspiration, transformation you've ever done. Our journey is about to start, about taking massive, focused action. It's about upping our game to being a Formula One racer. Are you ready to come racing with me? Alright, so let's get started. Get yourself some papers, a pen, something to drink, and let's start our engines. Are you ready? Mindshift. One of the most important things that you are going to discover on this adventure and journey is that your biological computer, your brain, is the thing that impacts a large part of what happens in our life. It impacts how we make decisions. It impacts how we think and feel quite often. And the challenge is that most people are unconscious and unaware, and so their brain runs them rather than them running their brain. And so as part of this journey, I'd like to introduce you to all of the latest neuroscience research and tools that you can understand how to use this biological computer, because your brain is a computer, albeit a biological one. It's like the one on your desk. And you need to be able to manage the information flow when it goes to find information, when it stores information, whether you've got thought viruses that are contaminating your information. And you need to be able to be the master and the leader of what's happening in there. And we'll cover that as we go through the Mindshift process. But let me ask you, do you have a dream that you still are holding on to? I know we've all had dreams, but so many people have given up on those dreams. How are you doing with your dream? I know when I was younger, I was wild. I'd read all these books and videos and tapes and CDs and done workshops. I used to write my goals on my shower wall with waterproof ink. To be a billionaire, to have this, to own this, to do that. And so every day, whenever I showered, I used to read my stuff on my shower wall. And occasionally when I had a girlfriend that stayed over, it was quite an interesting thing, because she would like, excuse me, what's this? I've never seen anybody who's writing their goals in their shower. And so part of the challenge that many people have is we have this dream, but because of situations and circumstances, we've actually given up. We've got what we call learned helplessness. And learned helplessness is insidious, it's invisible, but it undermines everything that you do. And what it does, it almost puts like a balloon between your foot and your accelerator. You know, sometimes when you're driving and you've got to put your foot down hard and you push and you've got this thrust of power from your vehicle, assuming that you've got something that's got a bit of power. But you get this vuma zuma going movement. Now, learned helplessness is like having a balloon between your foot and the accelerator, so that even when you push hard, not much really happens. And so you go through this life pretending, hoping, kind of praying, But in reality, you're only really giving half power. And one thing I know from my paraglider crash and from my work and getting really honest with myself, you've got what you've got because that's what you want. If you wanted more, if you were committed to more, you would do more, you would focus more. My question to you is, are you ready to create results that go beyond reasons? Are you prepared and ready and committed and energized enough to say, right, whatever it takes, my friend Dwight, D-W-E-I-T, do whatever it takes. And if you're friends with him, you will do whatever it takes. And my loss and my problem is, I've dabbled and dawdled around for my life, and the reality, the truth, is I'm doing more in the last part of my life because I got a mentor, I got coaches, and I invested big in me. I've always tried to get a bargain. There's a problem with that, is when you go and buy on the cheap and you don't invest fully in yourself, you get second class quality products or services. I didn't need a coach. I didn't need a mentor. You see, there are three kinds of people. When you go to a workshop or you see something, there are people that look at it and think, oh, no, too much, not for me, can't do it. There are other people like me that think, hey, yeah, I can do that. I don't need somebody to help me to do that. I'll go home and I'll save the money and I'll do it. And then there are smart people who say, wow, that's great. Let me go to that expert. Let me get that mentor. Let me invest my time, effort, money, resources, and get that person to fast track my success. Here's a real core truth. I could have taken 20 years off my adventure if I'd done that in the beginning. I could be where I am now 20 or more years ago if I'd been smart enough and intelligent enough and valued myself enough to invest in me. And so my challenge to you is, it's time to put aside the reasons. Stop watching TV. Stop wasting time with that air. You know, air's important. But what's that thing when you change the channels on the TV? That thing you press the buttons? No, it's not a remote control. It's air, an automatic income reducer. Have you ever made money? Have you ever built wealth? Have you ever generated value sitting on your behind watching TV, that nebulous Days of Our Wives stuff that people watch? Think about this. How many hours a week, a month do you spend as a couch potato? If you took just 25% of that time and invested and committed in you, knowledge, skill, ability, activity, learning, growing, exploring, and taking massive, focused, smart action, you too would be way, way ahead of where you might be right now. And it's only when the pain is big enough that you will wake up and smell the roses, smell the coffee, and decide to take action. I have been the I can do it on my own person. I am a take action person. I pick up a phone, I'll do the things. But the reality is, I did about 20% of the things I needed to do. And right now, I have 3 mentors that I'm working with. And I can tell you, I'm doing things in 1 week that would have taken me 2 to 3 years to do before. And so, whilst you're listening to this, that's very, very commendable. But if you truly are committed to success, find a mentor, find someone who's done it already, and engage them. Give them a whack of time, money, whatever commitment, and say, hold me hard, hold me accountable, because it's time to get your shift together. If I was left alone, if the heat wasn't rising, if there weren't circumstances, exigent circumstances that made me think, that made me reassess, we all want a nice, easy life. But the reality is that comfort zone in that nice, easy life is a danger zone, because it's during those times of discomfort, of unease, where we get the surprises that we're not looking for, that suddenly we have to reassess. How am I doing? How am I going? When I was in the Navy, I used to travel between Johannesburg and Cape Town, which is 1,600 kilometers. It's anything between a 12-hour to a 14, 15-hour journey. And the challenge is, when I was doing that in one go, there were times that I would fall asleep. And many people have fallen asleep at the wheel of their life. Your brain will pretend and trick you into thinking that you are awake. It will create the pictures and the images, and you will think you are awake, but in fact you are driving asleep, and it is the most dangerous thing. And you need to pray to whoever you pray to that something happens, some kind of bump in the road wakes you up, that you can become conscious. Because without that consciousness, you're not going to make choices that are smart choices. Without that consciousness, you're not going to make smart, intelligent choices. Without that consciousness, you're not going to take smart action. You're going to be reactive and not proactive. So it's time to get this shift together, to shift gear, to shift your mindset, to shift your attitude, and do whatever it takes. Do you know that when people have a heart attack, and they go in for these triple bypasses, and the surgeon then says to them, all right, Mr. DeVale, you need to understand you've just had a life-threatening experience, but we've managed to save your life, but here's what you're going to have to do to ensure your life continues. And they then detail the kind of lifestyle changes that are required, the changes from your old habits and routine behaviors. Now, these are professional people giving you serious life-saving guidance. Do you know that more than 80% of these people will go back to their old habits? Absolute insanity! But they will go back to their old lifestyle that got them to have a heart attack in the first place. Now, are they stupid or they're unconscious? You need a wake-up call, and I am your wake-up call, that you get your shift together. Write it down somewhere, put it on your wall, put it on your PC, but it's time to go from neutral, from stuck, to get into first gear. It's time to take away the reactive mindset, the reactive attitude, and be responsible adults, a responsible person. Are you ready for this? Because it's time. It is about time. The fact that you bought the system tells me you are ready to race. So let's talk about crashes. Because one of the biggest reasons why we don't risk, take chances, step up in life, is we're scared of the simple little thing called failure. Have you ever failed before? Think of that word failure. What is the feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach? Or maybe your shoulders, or wherever you get this feeling. When somebody says you are a failure, someone passes their pathetic judgment on you and says, you failed. It's the same as sinner. We have these feelings associated with words. But in the old days, if you were a sinner, all it meant was that you missed the mark. It happened when an archer was aiming for the bullseye and he missed the mark. You sinned. It's not that you're bad, irrevocably unacceptable to any higher power. It's just you missed the mark. Go again. Failure is exactly the same. Failure is only failure if you fail to stand up, if you fail to learn, if you fail to wake up and you stay on the ground. The moment you step up, stand up and build your resilience and take another new, more intelligent, more conscious step, you are no longer a failure. You are a student of life. You're experimenting, you are learning, you are growing, you're discovering. Best way to learn is to fail forward fast. The faster you fail forward, the faster you will learn, the more you can earn, the quicker you can become successful. There will always be challenges. There will always be choices. There will always be crashes. Hopefully not too many burns. But put up your hand if you've crashed and burned in situations in life. But look, have a look around. You are still here. Take this failure word and make a list on a piece of paper of everything that you have judged as a failure. What have you judged? Where have you judged yourself as a failure? And next to each one of them, write down, number 1, did you get up? Number 2, what did you learn? Or what could you learn? And how can you store and use that wisdom to help you become more conscious, more intelligent, more effective? Learning from books and videos or tapes has about a 10 to 15% efficacy, and it doesn't last long. The most powerful learning you have is hands-on, experiential, hands in the motor, hands on the steering wheel, going around the corners, having skids and slides and almost oopses. But it's about being on the track, not in the stands watching. It's about being on the track. You can put your hands up and say, I failed until I got up again. And so failure is fabulous. Failure is not a fear-based thing. In truth, failure is fabulous. And the moment you reframe that in your life, you can then start to step up and take a chance. Take the chance. Don't be stupid. Don't ignore the risk factors. But it's time. Look at your life where you have avoided, where you've stayed in the comfort zone because of this fear of failure. And it's one of the biggest driving reasons why people give up on their dreams, is because they're carrying a huge bag of failure. And it is time to get conscious and unload the bag, because from today on, when you've finished listening to this, you are going to be traveling a whole lot lighter. Just like a Formula One vehicle, weight is important. In your health, weight is important. Your power to weight ratio in vehicles is important. And if you're running around with a Pantechnicon full of baggage, a Pantechnicon and a bag full of failure on your back, it is going to slow you down. It is going to prevent you from taking a variety of actions, and it is going to keep you in a prison. And you are the one that is the jailer, not people on the outside. You are the one that is the prisoner. Time to wake up, become conscious, make an intelligent choice. Fabulous failure helps you learn. Burning and learning are part of life. Just don't burn too badly that you can't drive again, that you can't get back on the field like Nicky Lauda. But you know what? You want to live. You want to be on the field playing rather than watching on the sidelines. Because we know what happens on the sidelines. At the end of the game, you go home. But if you've been on the field, you have that thrill and then excitement, and you've got a chance of winning. Whatever winning means to you, whatever success means to you, you've got a chance of winning. And it doesn't matter how big that goal is or how big that dream is. You have a chance. And so let me ask you this question, because we're going to show you how unconscious you are and how reactive you are. The question is, can you eat an elephant? Write down your answer on a piece of paper in front of you. Now, if you're like most people, you would have automatically, this brain, this biological brain that's trying to protect you from danger, is going to say, no, of course you can't. It's way too big. But that's why you don't take action. That's why you don't get on this racetrack. That's why you sit on the side, because this brain has framed whatever goals and dreams and hopes that you have as too big, overwhelming. Think again. Can you eat an elephant? And you see, also, I'm playing with you because that's the wrong question. You need to understand the way you ask questions of this biological computer will control the kind of information, the kind of answers you get. And those answers will control thoughts, and thoughts will control feelings, and feelings will control moods, and moods predispose you to behavior. You have to manage this biological computer. So the question is, how do you eat an elephant? Yes, it might take a while, but it's very simple. One bite at a time. How do you succeed and achieve your goals and dreams? One bite at a time. By the yard, it's hard. By the inch, it's a cinch. Divide your goals and dreams and plans down into small action steps that you can take each day. Make it down to baby steps, and that's probably the number one reason that you have associated pain rather than pleasure with your goals and with your dreams. Because those are the two driving factors in our lives. The challenge that we have is when your brain versus your heart intelligence, when your brain, this biological computer, is in control and in automatic reactive mode, it is driven by fear. So it will do its best to protect and defend you. It's the amygdala's core filtering process of your reticular activation system says, where is the danger? What is the danger? Look out for danger. That is 80% of the focus. And it will find it for you. And it will shut you down. It will create the feelings, the anxiety, and the uncertainty, and the fear, and will stop you dead in your tracks. It will put on the handbrake, the foot brake. It will stop you dead if you allow it. But I hope you get this picture, because although I'm speaking in words, there are messages and metaphors that I'm giving you underneath. You are not the car. You, the person, the soul energy entity that I'm speaking to, you are not the car. Your soul, that part that's linked to the highest power in the universe, God, life, whatever you want to call it, you are the driver of the vehicle. And that's the same with your soul in your body. You are the driver of the vehicle. You can't let the car's computer, your biological brain, control you and tell you what to do. You can. It's going to limit you. It's going to protect you. It's going to keep you like a handbrake. It's going to negate any turbo boost, any high-powered engine or high-powered activity that you've got. We know that a large part of our driving focus is based on a fear-based pain avoidance process. And so be aware, if you're going to be smart, use both in getting yourself to take action and getting yourself to focus. It's the pleasure and the hope and the expectation of something positive linked with the pressure of the fear and the avoidance and the moving away from of something that we don't want. And so think about this right now. The picture, your hope, your dream that you've got. What is the pleasure? What is the passion? What is the feeling that you get when you think of that? Write down 2 or 3 words that you associate with that. Alright, now I want you to think of this. Imagine you are 65. You have run out of money. You are too old to work. You have no energy. This vehicle of yours is dilapidated. You can't get a job. You have no bright future. In fact, you're at a dead end. What is that feeling like? When you wake up in the morning with no hope, with no certainty, with no chance. Get a sense of that feeling. It's not nice, is it? Write down a few words that you associate with that. And now you can use both as fuel, as your why, because this big why will get you over your try. The picture, your hope, your dream that you've got. What is the pleasure? What is the passion? What is the feeling that you get when you think of that? Tell me the one thing. Why are you not successful as you hoped, dreamed, planned, or intended? Now you could be like me, that you made it and then lost it, and then made it and then lost it, and then made it and got a friend stole it, and then made it and another friend stole it, and made it and invested in something that crashed and burnt. What's your excuse? Remember we said at the beginning, results beyond reasons, results beyond excuses. What's your reason? And I want you to become aware of a word that is destroying your destiny and your future. It's the Mr. Try. I tried. I tried my best. I really, really tried. Bull dangle. Tried is an excuse that you use to avoid holding yourself accountable. If I put you on the roof and said, jump, I'll try and catch you. Or I'll try and meet you at 4 o'clock. I'll try and have the report done. I'll try and get my homework done. I'll try some BS thing. Look in the mirror. You are lying and deceiving yourself. Try is the death sentence of success. You have to take that word and avoid it, negate it, and keep it out of your language. Because when you have a driving why, that positive, wonderful, appreciative, appealing why, as well as that fear, anger, avoid, don't like, yucky, don't want to be near, run away from, burn to learn why, those two together can create a fuel that will drive you through any storm, through any race, through a 24-hour Le Mans. It will keep you going no matter what happens, whether you crash and burn and learn and don't earn and get back up again. But if you have a big enough why, you will find a how. But you have to find that why. You need to get a piece of paper and write down on the top, my big why. Why do you want to be successful? Why do you want to be happy? Why do you want to make the money? Why do you want to buy the car? Why do you want to have the house? Why do you want to start that business? Why? And as you're writing this, I want you to become aware and listen to the little internal voice inside your head. Is it a want? Is it a need? Is it an ego driven by fear? I want a car so people will see me. I want a car so people will recognize me. Is it I want something so I can be worthy and valuable? When I was younger, I needed to have a fancy car to be somebody, and a motorbike like my partner to be somebody, and gold jewelry and fancy stuff to be somebody, to be recognized, to be acknowledged, to be valued or appreciated. But I was being driven by my ego, my fear, my head, my brain, and not by my soul or my heart. I was fear-based and not love-based in the way I lived my life. And so my handbrake was on. I had this beautiful Ferrari, this beautiful brain, my goals on the wall, this powerful vehicle. When I was young, I used to sell Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces. I used to drive them at the age of 21. I was driving cars that you only dreamed about, DeLoreans, Panteras, De Tomaso Panteras, 930 turbo Porsches, 270 km/h vehicles I was driving at 21. But you know what? I still was driving my life with my handbrake on, and I was unaware of it. And so the one foot's pushing the turbo, pushing the accelerator, trying to go faster. But underneath, the try, the want, the ego, the fear was holding me back. How about you? What holds you back? At the time, I wasn't aware enough or conscious enough. But you get this picture of you've got this beautiful 2 million or 3 million rand Ferrari, fancy control system, big engine, powerful turbos, and now you've got this power, 2,000 horsepower being pushed through the vehicle. But the handbrake's holding you back. And so there's this conflict. And it's the same with you and me. We have this internal conflict, the war of our internal worlds. And this is the number one war that you have to win. If you don't win this war, you might as well get out of the car right now before you even try and leave the pits and go and sit on that grandstands and give up, because it will always be there. When I was going through my Mankind Project training, my healing training workshops, I went to Los Angeles for our Mankind workshop because I was always looking for the next level, something to move me to the next level. And as part of my initiated process that I went through, and I came out at my initiated name is Fiery Tiger, they tell us a story about the Indian brave who's preparing to go to war with dignity and honor. And he goes to the wise medicine man and says, "Medicine man, please, you have to help me." He says, "I have this conflict, this war inside me." He said, "On my one shoulder I have this beautiful, white, kind, loving, caring, wonderful, encouraging wolf. And he said, on my other shoulder, this other internal voice, I have this black, smelly, snarling, evil, unfriendly, undermining wolf that is constantly hacking at me and telling me I'm not good enough, or I'm stupid, or I'm just, everything is holding me back." And he said, these two wolves fight constantly inside of me. I have this constant internal battle the whole time that's affecting me. He said, I have to know before I go, because it's completely stopping and limiting me. I have to know which wolf is going to win. And the wise man looked at him and said, "My son, the one that you feed the most." Which wolf do you feed? The white, kind, loving, caring, supportive, encouraging, uplifting, positive wolf? Or do you feed your black, evil, smelly, nasty, snarling, stinky, undermining, not good enough wolf? Because the day you put your black wolf on diet permanently and feed your white wolf, that is the foundation of your future. That is where your number one distraction will start to change, where your internal weather system, whether you will take action or not, whether you will feel good or not, your internal pH of how positive you are inside starts with that war. And until you win that war, everything else is going to be like racing this beautiful vehicle with your handbrake on. And it's what we call your ISEB, your internal success insurance balance. This is based on the work of Professor Lasada. We can predict the success of a relationship or team or organization to 95% accuracy based on one thing: the ratio of positive to negative comments, interactions, or conversations. Most people think that if you have one negative, you need a positive to neutralize it out. While extensive research has shown at academic level research that it takes 3 positives to neutralize and balance 1 negative. Think about that. It takes 3 positive interactions just to balance and neutralize 1 negative. If you're going to be positive and sustainable and allow your turbocharge to accelerate you and keep you going and taking smart action, you ideally need 5, 6, 7, or 8 positives to any negativity that you have in yourself, internally, in your home relationships, in your work relationships, in your team environment, with your children, with wherever you're going out in the world. Your ISEB, that internal success insurance balance, is vital. If you are trying to ride a car at high speed and the wheels are out of balance, you know you get that shake. Your steering wheel shakes and everything shakes. And it's exactly the same internally with you. It's exactly the same with any kind of energetic communication interaction. Make sure that you have a minimum of 5, 6, or 7 positives to any kind of negativity that may be happening around you. And the challenge that you have, and not many people are aware of this, is ever thought of somebody and they phone you? You know, you're busy driving along or sitting and suddenly someone's name or picture pops into your head, and the next thing they phone you. How does that happen? How is it that they kind of send a signal to you? Did you send a signal to them? Well, I'm not sure, but all I can tell you is we are connected, and we are like radio stations. We are broadcast and receiver stations. And I have at times been driving down the road, and suddenly a thought pops into my head, and I thought, because I'm aware enough and conscious enough, because I do this work, I thought, but that's not my thought. That thought is not from me. Have you ever been driving and suddenly a really unhealthy thought pops into your head, an unfriendly thought that makes you feel bad or feel anxious or feel jealous or some kind of negative emotion? Here's what I've come to understand in the extensive energy work that I do. Because we are like transmitters and receivers, and because you don't, at this moment in time, have a high quality thought antivirus system running in your brain, you can be thought by a thought that is not yours. And if you're not awake enough, not conscious enough, it will create feelings and emotions and moods and behaviors and predispose you to action or not action, and you won't even know that it's not yours. I don't know if you have a computer. You must have if you're playing this, possibly. But these people go online and they get the free antivirus software. Now, do you think a company that makes free antivirus is going to give you the best of the best of the best? Or they're going to give you the free one that's kind of going to do an okay job, but ideally they want you to buy the real thing. It's exactly how I lived my life. I was trying to be successful on the freebies and hobble along, and I never got myself into 5th gear. It's exactly the same as what I'm taking you through today. You need to let go of this cheapy freebie stuff and start to value you, appreciate you, respect you, engage you, and say, I am worthy, I am valuable, I am the best is what is valuable and good enough for me from today forward. And if you start to do that, you will then make a commitment, an internal commitment, to only allow positive internal. Only allow positive conversations inside your head, no matter how much you crash and burn and learn and whatever mistakes you make, you only allow constructive, positive, internal conversation in your head. You keep that pH balance positive, like the pH of a pool. If it's acidic, if it's negative, all kind of chocho stuff, green algae and yucky stuff and smelly stuff grows there. You have to make sure that ISEB, that internal success insurance balance, is in the positive side. if you are awake enough, you can then be conscious and aware and recognize when a thought comes through that's not yours, and instantly you can block it, because your real high quality full effectiveness antivirus is going to work and block it and prevent those kind of negative issues from slipping in to your consciousness and into your energy. And that'll allow you to dance in delight, to dance lightly, to dance with passion, to dance in the storm, to dance in the rain, to dance in the dark. Because the day you make that internal commitment that you are worthy and valuable, your life will change. The day you make that decision, that irrevocable decision to only allow positive inside your energy, inside your space, inside your brain, inside this biological computer, your life, your relationship with yourself, your destiny will change. Because you'll stop looking in the rearview mirror and you'll start to see a brighter future. You will start to attract better things into your life. But to do that, you have to stop any self-deception. You have to stop any kind of slips when you're on diet. And for a while you stay on diet. And then you think, it's a Friday, I'll just have a glass of wine. And that whole week's worth of effort gets smashed, because internally you distort the size of that portion, the impact of that portion. I'm very blessed. I have a fiance that was involved in a diet process, and she, for me, was an exceptional role model, because she made a decision, an irrevocable decision, and within 90 days she achieved her goal and dream. And that's what started me to become conscious about how much self-deception I put myself through. We all lie to ourselves, but it's time. Otherwise you will be distorting all of those external factors. The core true factor of why you have not achieved success or your dreams is not anything on the outside, it is you on the inside. You. Now own it, embrace it, take the wisdom, drop the energy. It is time to cut these thought viruses, to run an antivirus scan and say, right, as of today, nothing negative is allowed, nothing destructive is allowed. Whether it's my old relationships from my fiance's, girlfriend, husbands, wives, friends, school, business, boss, whether it's from parents, from religions, whatever it is time to draw a line in the sand, to draw a line on the track and say, I am worthy, I am valuable, I appreciate me, I support me, I encourage me, and anything negative from this day forward, I will only allow positive, resilient thinking. Write it somewhere. Make that decision. Get up, walk away, come back. Anchor that into your energy. Make an irrevocable decision from this day forward. You only allow positive inside your consciousness, inside your thinking patterns, and it will be the most powerful foundational shift that you can make. I need to tell you about positive thinking. You probably were taught that positive thinking is a good thing. Think positive, my son. Be positive. Say these positive affirmations. BS. Here's the truth. Have you ever said affirmations and affirmations and affirmations, and a part of your brain says, yeah, right? Or you've tried these affirmations or subliminal things, and eventually you've got to the point of saying, you know what, it's not going to happen. And so learned helplessness has come in. In the work that I do with resilience, I've come to truly understand that you don't want to have a positive mindset. Whilst it has value to be positive, you also need a resilient mindset. And resilience is very, very different to positivity, because resilience has got 4 dimensions. It's control. How much control, real control, perceived control do I have with the situation or set of circumstances? How much control can I leverage and take action with? Second one is ownership. Will I take ownership of something, or will I avoid and blame? Because the moment you avoid and blame and push away, you have no power. You can't do anything. And then reach is, how far into my life will these ripples of issue go? So when you throw that pebble in the pond, those ripples go outward, ever outward, and bigger and incremental circles. It's the same with some kind of challenge or issue that happens in our lives. How far out into your life do those ripples and circles impregnate and permeate and affect and infect? And the final one is extent. For how long are you going to carry the baggage? Because the shorter you can carry the baggage, and the more contained you can keep those ripples, and the more ownership you can take rather than blame, and the more control you can put into your head, into your mindset, into your attitude, into your behavior, the more successful and resilient you will be. Now let me tell you the story about a prisoner of war. This captain was caught with a whole lot of his people in one of these war camps. But he was a smart captain. And whilst there were people there that were positive thinkers, their positive thinking was, today they're coming to rescue us. Today they're going to come rescue us, and nothing would happen. And then tomorrow would be, and today's the day they're coming to rescue us, and nothing would happen. And then tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and today they're coming to rescue us. And it wasn't long before their brain said, BS, give up. And learned helplessness crept into their psychology and their psyche. But the captain that said, it doesn't matter when they come, I will be here. Doesn't matter how long they take, I will be here. Whenever they finally come, I will be here. Do you get the difference? And that's what I want you to look at, is it doesn't matter how long it takes. Count on me. I'll be here. I'll be taking those steps. I'll be focusing. I'll be taking smart action. I'll be using my antivirus to make sure that I build resilience, and I will have discipline to focus my energy and my attention on enhancing and building and nurturing my dreams, on taking that action to ensure that I get results beyond reasons, to become a response-able person rather than a reactive person, and that I can take the failures and I can learn from them, and I can be a success at the failure, and I'm conscious. Because by now, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You see, that's how quickly you learn. And so in your brain, just get a picture of taking your handbrake off on this Ferrari and finally letting this handbrake go, this try, because it will hobble your happiness, and happiness is a choice. If you are going to be successful, you need to understand this. People are successful because they're happy, not happy because they're successful. Do you get that switch? You've got to be happy to do the things that successful people do. Then you will have the things that successful people have. Make the choice today. Let me ask you this question. Have you been angry recently? For any reason whatsoever? Who made you angry? Who was it that made you angry? And now, unfortunately, I can't hear what you're saying, but write it down. Either someone else, you're going to write out someone's name or some situation or some circumstances, or you are going to be awake and aware and smart and honest and own it and say, I made me angry. Yes, I know. Depending upon what you wrote down, you're either going to be saying, what? You are the master. You are the one that made yourself angry at their behavior. You are a wizard. You can be a white wizard or a black wizard with how you manage your mind, with how you manage your thoughts, the kind of thoughts that you allow into the system. But you are the one that creates the emotional state either as a reaction or as a response. Until today, maybe you've been reactive, like a robot. Press a button, get angry. Press a button, get angry. Press a button, get angry. Such an intelligent robot. But the truth is, if the price was big enough, you would manage your energy. You would manage your mindset. You would manage your mood and your state. If I took a bet with you that if I made you angry, your loved one would die, do you think I'd be able to make you angry? I'd spit on you, call you names, call your granny, your mother, your cousin, your uncle names. Do you think you'd get angry? Probably not. Why not? Because the price is right. When the price is right, you're in control and in charge and choose. When it's not, you're unconscious, you fall asleep, and you're back into your comfort zone of automatic reactive behavior where you want to manipulate and say, you made me angry. You have been deceptive for most of your life because you were taught by people around you. The truth is, you are the one that makes yourself happy. You are the one who makes yourself angry. And with that power, you can now manage your mind, that we can get your shift together. You can make sure that your ICEB is positive, 6, 7, 8 positives in your environment for any negative. You don't want to go to 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 positive to any negative, because then you're in la-la land and you're smoking your socks. But stop the deception. Look in the mirror. Forgive, let go, unhook, unwind, release. I release all my past blame. I release all my past shame, and I replace it with freedom, love, abundance, and peace. Because when I did my Mankind workshop, we did this visioning process, this visioneering process of what is our destiny and our cause and our calling. And in your mind, you go across the river and you come back with what you believe the world needs. And here's what I brought back, and here's what my whole intention for this work that I'm doing is. I co-create a world of freedom, of love, abundance, and peace. Do you get that? My intention, my sole intention, when I wake up in the morning and I go through my day, my core focus intention that drives my soul, my energy, my fuel, and my Ferrari is I am co-creating a world with you of more freedom, of more love, of more abundance, and more peace. Just happens to spell the acronym FLAP, because you've got to flap before you can fly, with a really, really big Y. So it'll help you remember that. Flap, you've got to flap before you can fly, but you've got to have a really, really big Y. And I do this for people through workshops, coaching, mentoring, training, support, for those who are ready to get out of the stands and into the driving seat to drive their own car, which you've put up your hand and you said, I'm ready. And I honor you, I respect you, I appreciate and I value for the stepping up process. And for our final part of this process, I want to leave you with some thoughts around managing this biological computer of yours called your brain. There's amazing work done by Dr. David Rock on neuropsychology, and he talks about scarf. So now when you're racing fast, you have that scarf flying in the wind behind you. Remember scarf, S-C-A-R-F. So when you are using your brain, if you're interacting with others, always be aware. It doesn't matter what they think, what their consciousness is, there's a deep underlying core part of them that reacts up to 7 seconds before they are consciously aware of it. And these are the filters. The scarf is the filters that the brain is watching out for. This reticular activation system that runs your brain, this policeman in the brain that filters out what you see and what you don't see out of the billions of bits of information per second. And so we know from David's work, the very major focus of your brain is the number one thing is protection away from any threat response. So the brain is always filtering, is this danger? Will this eat me or can I eat it? What is my risk? What is the threat? What is my chance of loss? It is at least 80% of the brain's focus. The other part of the brain's focus, the smaller 20%, is the reward, the moving towards process that we spoke about earlier on. And so I'm going to tell you about the SCARF model so that you can be aware of it. There's a lot of work behind this, but from a high level, you need to understand yourself and anybody you're interacting with. Their core brain function is protect, defend, hold tight, make sure I am safe. And so there are 5 key qualities that the brain looks for in this threat response or this threat filter. And the very first one is about status. How is my social status? If you're doing something or if something happens to you that changes or threatens or lowers your social status, there is an automatic deep trigger, a threat response which causes a negative reaction in the brain. It creates feelings and reactions beyond your consciousness, and it impacts every part of your being. So please be aware when you're interacting with people, when something is happening with yourself, the more conscious you are, the more you can mitigate the impact of this thing. If something's happening to you and you're not feeling so good, ask yourself, what does my brain think is happening to my status? Is there a threat? And then you'll be able to be more conscious and response-able rather than reactionary. The second part, when we spoke about the 6 human needs, But the brain needs certainty. It likes familiar places. It uses that to conserve energy. If everything's the same, everything's calm, everything's normal, it doesn't have to be on high alert, and so it consumes less energy, and your brain uses at least 70% of the resources that you put into your body. If you're working and focusing all day, that brain is using most of that energy and that nutrition. And it needs this energy to create new neural pathways. I was watching a TV show, and this guy implanted a little electronic thing in the gentleman's brain, in the patient's brain, and within 2 weeks there was new neural pathways building and growing through this thing that put in the brain. And so it's an important part of the brain. For your brain to run on autopilot like it does, it needs certainty. In high uncertainty spaces, it's then going to be focused on the threat situation. So you need to make sure, or when you get this feeling, ask yourself again, be conscious, be awake, be aware. What's happening to my certainty? Or what am I doing? Am I risking my certainty, or is this other person risking their certainty? And especially if you're an entrepreneur or a paraglider like me, you're going to have to go dancing on the space of uncertainty at some stages. But the brain's core function is it needs certainty. If there's some kind of reaction happening, like you see people with phobias, where they can't control what's happening to them, it's the brain's need to control and have certainty and safety. That's the S for status and C for certainty from SCARF. The third one is autonomy. And autonomy is about the degree to which you can adapt or control your situation. And it's back to that resilience, is how much control do you have? But it's not only about how much you can adapt or control the situation, it's how much you can control your response ability, your response able to the situation, so that you can make your own choices. The moment you have more control, your feelings of certainty increase, your stress is reduced, and your resilience and your psychological capital increases. So if you're in a team, in a situation, within a defined context, give people some sense of autonomy, that they have control, self-control, self-regulation ability. That's the A from SCARF. R is about relatedness, and it's back to Maslow's system. It's about belonging. It's about healthy, positive relationships where we have trust and empathy. Your brain automatically filters people out. Are they friendly, or are they foes? Are they the enemy? It's back to that, away from threat, big avoidance, or move towards response. And so your brain, you'll meet somebody, and instantly you'll get a sense of, nah, this person doesn't fit in with me. And your brain will then start to give you validations and reasons why you don't like to be around those people. So the moment your brain decides, before you consciously decide, that this person is a foe and they don't fit in, automatically causes feelings of being uncomfortable, which triggers the threat response in the brain, and that then creates the need to protect and defend, and this creates resistance to any kind of change or anything new. So be aware of it. You think you're in charge, like I said before, up to 7 seconds your brain, the core biological computer, is deciding for you. And it's very much around this, can I relate, can I connect, am I safe, are we together in a team, or are we not together, are you against me or for me? And that's the R from SCARF. And the final one is fairness. The brain automatically scans and compares for a perception of fairness, and the moment it gets a sense of unfairness, it automatically generates hostility, and which undermines any credibility and trust. And remember, the important thing is not about the reality, it's about the brain's perception. Any kind of unfairness in environment prevents and stops collaboration, it reduces your chance of connection, it breaks and reduces trust, and those are all important parts to being successful in your life, to managing your life, to being a good leader, to creating a good team, and having a space where change ability is possible and easier. Because if you have that resistance from the relatedness before, is always going to be a big issue when you're creating change. And when you're interacting with people and yourself, it is the number one thing that's going to stop you from taking action. So wake up and begin to decide to use the scarf model at work, at home, and with yourself. Create a positive space internally. Be conscious and be aware. Be cognizant that the brain's automatic system, this little child within you, is automatically going to go for defense. So when I give you a good idea and say, what about this? The brain's going to put on the brakes and say, no, we can't go racing. It's too much of a threat. You're going to have to, with love and care and gentleness, override the automatic reaction and do something that is response-able, that will enable you to put yourself into a high-performance state. And if you are conscious and awake and aware, you can now make amazing choice. Time to get on the track. And as I come to the end of this part 1 of our Mindshift system, I salute you as a gladiator of success. I salute you for stepping into your power, into your consciousness, into your choice, where you have made a decision, an irrevocable decision, to deliver results beyond reasons, to deliver results beyond I'll try, where you've made that decision to invest fully and value yourself. Because this is going to allow you to dance in delight. And when you dance in delight, you will bring some more light. And you probably find people around you are going to be shocked at the shift in you. When I do my 2 and 3 and 4 day workshops, you can see the testimonials. They are life-shifting, life-changing, game-changing experiences. I can't do that with you. I've only got this medium of conversation. But how you then run those movies in your head is going to control a huge amount of the impact. And so listen to this again. You will hear things over and over and over that you didn't hear the last time. I've packed a whole host of stuff. I'm condensing 35 to 40 years into 1 hour for this part of the Mindshift system, of this smart action system. I salute you. I thank you. It is time and start to moving to the next level.